Simon Douglas, thank you for that funny introduction. Certainly unnerved me, so that's good.
That's how I am sometimes.
And other distinguished guest speakers, participants, it's my pleasure to be here with you this morning and to share with you some lessons from the tourism industry. As we all know, tourism is the main industry in Jamaica, and it lays the golden egg. And so we depend on you, our partners, many of you are here today, to ensure that we are productive and that this industry remains alive. As you know as well, it is very fragile, and so it depends on everybody to ensure that we deliver experiences of a lifetime coming from the Jamaican product. Now, there is no one size that fits all solutions to improving workplace productivity. However, lessons from the various sectors that will be shared here today will no doubt provide you with some valuable insights in improving your workplace productivity. So the first thing is, what does a productivity culture look like? We hear this, productivity is everybody's business, but what does it look like? What does it feel like? Very important that you can define that. It's where everyone at the workplace is committed to making sure work is done well, in a timely manner, and with few mistakes. It is where employees are always on the lookout of improving their what? Performance, and improving the performance of the company. It is where there is good and respectful relationships between managers, staff, between different teams and departments, and within work groups. And this is key. If you are not improving the performance year over year, then you are not productive. Do you agree? Yes? Okay, very good. So here are 5 key lessons that I'll be sharing this morning. The first lesson, measuring what matters. Second, how do we create a productive workplace culture? Encouraging innovation and use of technology. How does investing in people and skills improve productivity? And finally, how do we organize work to improve productivity? So, measuring what matters. In any investment that you make, we have to ensure that we understand the things that would make the biggest difference. For example, is it the size of your organization structure? Is it the skill levels of your staff? And also, is it the investment in new technology? All 3 are important aspects in measuring productivity. So here's an activity I'd like you to do. When you go back to your various organizations, is to test your productivity temperature. And you're doing this by looking at the types of employees. And at Half Moon, we define 5 types of employees we have working with us. And the first one is the deadwood. And the deadwood is the one that will sit on the tree and will dream about payday. Then you have the problem child. And this is the one, no matter what you ask to be done, they'll give you a reason why it cannot be done. And they will even tell you that it was tried before and it never worked. And then you have the marginal. And this is the guy or the lady who sits on the fence, and when occupancies are down, they will say, boy, Miss Crichton, nothing now go on your side now. Things bad. Instead of looking for opportunities. And they also sit on the fence and they will watch what is happening. And they will ask what is happening. And then you have your workhorse. And these are your employees who will give you 8 hours for 8 hours. When they come to work, they are working. But 5 o'clock comes, the bag is on the shoulder, button on the computer off. Bye, see you tomorrow. Have a great day. But they have completed everything. And then you have your superstars. And your superstars are those who will look for the opportunities. They are the ones who will stay late when there's a project that needs to be completed and there's a deadline. They are the ones who will say to others on the team, how can I help? So this is what you need to do when you go back. See that line? If 80% of your employees are above the line, then you are achieving productivity. Right? 80%. If 50% or less than 80% is below the line, then you are not achieving productivity. Now here is what we did. When we looked at the deadwood, the problem child, and the marginal, we said, what are the ways we can, because people need their jobs, you know. So you don't really want to get rid of them. Yeah? But sometimes you have to show them why it is important to become more productive or to be productive, and why it is that what they do matters. Yeah? Many times we don't explain the whys. We just issue the instructions. So they don't see the benefit. So it's important that your employees see the benefit. All right? So you can do retraining. You can invest in motivational speakers. You can also apply progressive discipline to try to get them to move above the line. But be careful when you spend too much time below the line. You have to spend some time with your workers above the line who are producing for you by valuing their experience, by valuing their work, by providing recognition for them. And it's not only in money, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So when you go back, I know some of you now are probably thinking, let me see who in my area is a deadwood. And you can even think about it even from now. Yeah, and your problem children and your marginals. Lesson 2, how do you create a productive workplace culture? First thing you have to do is to create a positive work environment. And what does that include? That includes that you have to have values that every single solitary person is asked to demonstrate on a daily basis. And when they don't do that, you have to hold them accountable. At Half Moon, our values are rich: respect, integrity, certainty, and honesty. And we hold everybody accountable for living those values daily. You also have to value people's insights and their experience. Get to know your people. So you know Shernette likes cooking. So my general manager will ensure that whenever we have a farm trip that we're going to do a cook-off, that Shernette is placed on one of those teams. So Shernette can show off her skills. Or it may mean that if I'm being rewarded, that I get a dinner for 2. Not necessarily money. But give me something that I can what? Appreciate. Or buy me a cookbook. Yeah? Something that I can appreciate. Rewards and recognition. It's another key factor. And rewards, everybody's doing Employee of the Year, ceremonies, Employee of the Month, etc. Why not get all your key players for the quarter and send them on a field trip where they go and benchmark something or other properties? For example, why not do what we do? We do our Excellence Bulletin, which is a newsletter that comes out monthly, and we are highlighting all our superstars. Because people love to see them picture all about the place, you know. Yes, they love that. And people are visual. Giving me a commendation letter, everybody does that. But see my picture on a notice board all over the property, wow, I feel good. And then you get others to feel jealous and want to what? Step up. All right? Very important. Implementation of a good work-life balance, policies, and practices also important. In the hotel industry, we work 6 days a week. And it's a 27, I call it 24/7 operation. That's a Jamaican term, right? We work 24/7, right? But people have another life. They have their families. They need time for themselves. So we recognize that when we had a 6-day work week, people were stealing time to go downtown, to go to the bank, yeah? To go to the doctor, to go do their own little business, etc. Right? So what we did, we said, okay, we know it's going to cost us a little bit more money, but we implemented a 5-day work week. So people would have 2 days off. One day, you make sure you take it for your what? Your personal business. Another day, you take it for those who have to go to church, spend time with your family. So while it costed us a little bit more, we found that people were very happy for that. And so their productivity level rose. And they were happier because happy employees make happy guests. Because if I have an employee whose child is not well, and they're thinking about that child, when they come on the job, you can't tell them to leave it at the gate. They won't. So we have to make sure that the policies and the practices that we have will allow for a good work-life balance. And what we have done also is to bring the investment persons in. We have a day where we call it a half-moon day, where they come and they talk about investments. We bring the insurance persons in for them. We also, every 3 years, we bring in heart because we want healthy people. We have a challenge now called the Biggest Loser. You know what that is? You have your team and you weigh in. And then we have them walking, hopping, skipping, running, jumping, and after 4 months, we'll see which team lost the most pounds. Because we want to make sure that they are what? Fit. Because tourism is big business and it represents service. Yeah? So we can't have deadwoods. We have to have what? Live wires. We want to have people who are enthusiastic, who have energy, that will exceed expectations. Encouraging innovation and use of technology. Now, do you know that this can be good and it can be bad? Let me tell you something. That person who invented emails, if you don't set an email policy, your key managers will sit in offices and will not go out and engage your customers because they are spending too much time responding to emails. And then some of us love to reply to all. You don't need to reply to all. I don't need to see what you're telling somebody thank you or congratulations for something. I don't need to see that. Because when you do that, now you're forcing me to have to answer and respond to every single email. So it can make you or it can break you in terms of your productivity. But innovation is a key part of, a key aspect of improving workplace productivity. Is your team encouraged to share their ideas? Have brainstorming sessions. Many times, we executives at the top, we feel that we know everything. But who is the one interacting with the customer the most? Your line level employees. They're hearing from your customers. So you need to engage them to get that feedback so you can improve on services, etc. And is your organization technology savvy? Yeah? Those are questions you need to ask. Lesson 4, investing in people and skills. The more skills your staff have, the more innovative they can be. So cross-training is very, very important. Because when someone is out from another department, you can pull from another area to assist. The other day, for example, we had a buyout of the hotel. Transamerica Group had 347 persons checking in basically at the same time. We have 10 front desk agents. So can you imagine a room this size with different stations? So we had to pull persons from other departments to assist to ensure that the flow is not very slow and it goes smoothly. So we had persons from accounting assisting with check-in process. We had persons from the main stores, the clerks, assisting with check-in process because we have cross-trained. So when there is a need, you can fill that need. Trained employees will be more capable with new technology. It's surprising that we have university graduates who are not able to put together an Excel spreadsheet. It's very concerning that they graduate from university and they cannot put together a proper Excel spreadsheet. Skilled employees work more quickly and with fewer mistakes. And skilled employees require less supervision, they accept more responsibility, and are better communicators. And I'll share with you, in 2008, we recognized that we had a problem with rooms being called in ready. And we recognized that we are a 398-room property. We are spread out on 400 acres. And we have basically 6 supervisors in housekeeping. Right? And if we require those 6 supervisors to check, if we have a very busy day, at least 300 rooms, how are we going to get through that? So what we did, we went on board with Heart Trust, NTA. We partnered with them. We got them to come in and certify our room attendants to level 2 employees. And at level 2, you should be able to do your self-checks. And then after that, we looked at the ones who came in with the highest assessments, and we said, you now are going to be self-checkers. So when you have finished your room, just put the information in. So we do not need housekeeping supervisors to now go and check those rooms. We also did a time and motion study to see, with the correct procedure, how long will it take to clean different sections of the hotel. And when we did that, we learned that instead of cleaning, taking an hour and 20 minutes to clean a checkout room, if you did it correctly through training, then it will take 45 minutes. So we were able to improve the productivity level there. So instead of 8 rooms, you now have 10 rooms to clean. So these are the things that you need to do to think outside the box and to improve your productivity through training. And as I said, training leads to higher skills and wages, and it will also lead to lower staff turnover. What I find, when employees do not know what they are supposed to do, they are not confident, so they will not assert themselves. And they quickly go to becoming deadwoods. So it is important for you to invest in training and development for your teams. Organizing work. Set goals and expectations. Set goals and expectations. Very basic. Everybody knows that. Conduct a SWOT analysis. Every year do that. Ask your team leaders in the various areas to do that. What are the strengths of the organization? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? And look carefully at opportunities. Many times when we go into a recession, we tend to look at just cutting costs. But I implore us, look at those opportunities to generate revenue. Don't just focus on cutting costs and cutting staff, but look for those key ideas from your teams of how you can generate revenue. Very important. In organizing work, we found that we have to identify the following. What? What is it that we want to achieve? And you must see the end before you begin. The why. Why are we doing it? It's very, very important. And you have to explain the why to your team members. Then the how. How are we going to get it done? And you must show them how it benefits them. If you really want the buy-in, just show them how this will benefit you. And make sure you see a little dollar sign. Because people love money. Okay? And then the who. Who is key. I think it was a presenter, I'm not sure if it was Minister Folks who mentioned that sometimes we give the wrong job to the wrong person. So who is key? And when? When is important. In the hotel world, we know that you cannot paint your buildings during hurricane season. That's a bad decision. So when the timing of your projects are very, very important. Right? And utilize a team approach. An integrated approach is key. For us at Half Moon, when we're going to redo our rooms, we have the entire team doing the inspections. We have the landscaping manager with us. We have the housekeeper. We have the chief engineer. We have the interior decor and design person with us. And they have me, because they need the approvals. Right? And then who goes in first? First is your housekeeper to strip the room. Do not send the maintenance guy in first, because they create a mess. Right, yes. So your housekeeper goes in first to strip, then your maintenance. Do not send landscaping before maintenance is out, because you're going to have lots of stuff in the flower beds. So it's what? Loss of what? Productive time, just waste. So how you organize work is very important. I'd like to close with this video of the James Cook Hotel, because you have to learn from others. This was a hotel we learned from. So please, indulge.
was performing okay, but it was a little bit tired and in need of some money spent on it.
I've been here 33 years. I've seen the hotel grow. It started with a 200-room hotel. It's now a 260-room hotel. So we've been through many renovations, rebuildings, and it's grown a lot. It's changed a lot. They used to have lots of staff to do the job, and the job was heavy. Quilts and eider-downs and heavy wool blankets, and everything was heavy and took a lot of strength and a lot of time to do things.
So really for the last 5 years we've gone through a pretty major refurbishment program, spent close to $7 million on the hardware, and spent quite a bit of money on the software, which are our people.
Over the years, I guess coming through the ranks, because I've grown with the hotel very much so, they have developed from doing no training except teaching you their job to developing me as a person. I've learnt to be a lot more confident in myself, I've learnt to grow, I've learnt to listen to people, and they've sent me on many, many courses and taught me many, many things which I hope I impart to my staff.
We want our frontline staff to be trained to the level of managers, so that should they need a rise where we need a manager to jump in, we can put one of our frontline staff in to be trained. We put them through any kind of course that they're willing to stick their hand up for. If they're passionate and interested in it, we're willing to develop our time and energy into developing that person.
One of the key problems in the hotel industry is the churn of staff, and traditionally there's somewhere between 50 and 80% turnover per year, and we sort of figure that's way too high. Going through the recruitment program, training, bringing them up to speed is about $10,000 to us. So if we're turning over 50 to 80%, that's several $100,000 a year. So we've worked very hard in the last 5 years, bringing that down to around 40%, which is still, in other industries may seem high, but we think we've done a good job there. And the way we've done that is through training, staff benefits, communication, and really making the staff part of the team and breaking down a lot of that hierarchy that was in place here.
We have a 3-month intensive training course for the girls, and we start them off and we train them in every way we know how, and then we take them along and we buddy them with an experienced housemaid so that they can learn the finer points, the small detail things that take time to learn, and it makes them very efficient and very proud of the product, and it gives them a sense of ownership.
A great indicator of our success in retaining staff is the fact that we've got a couple of staff that have been here for the whole time the hotel's been open. That's 35 years. There's more than 20 that have done 20 years service, and there's another 50 that have done 5 years service. So on a staff of 180, we reckon that's pretty good going in terms of holding on to our people.
Well, the bosses are great. They're pushing me, so I hope one day I'll be a supervisor.
Health and safety is certainly an area that we've taken very, very seriously. We have a very active OSH committee who meet on a regular basis and are always knocking on my door demanding that things are resolved.
I'm an officer on the Health and Safety Committee here, and there's lots of areas in the last year and a half that we thought, hang on, I know this has probably been like this for a few years now, but if we change it, it's going to make improvements.
We do find it hard to find staff in this industry. The last thing we want is, our people staying home because of bad backs or, sprains and things like that. So at the end of the day, it's about productivity, keeping the staff on our floor rather than at home, and reducing its sick leave as much as possible.
To have a budget for health and safety is irrelevant really, because it's money that you need to spend to keep your team happy and safe at work.
Incentives are a really good way of getting the best out of people. When I first started, we had the smiley stamps, and it's a little yellow stamp that sits on my desk. So every time your name gets mentioned in a customer service critique, we make this big thing and you get your name stamped. And when I first started, the concierge boys, being pretty, macho and, didn't really want to take part in the stampies, and that was fine, that's okay. But at the end of the month, once I started giving out the presents and the prizes for getting 3 stamps, the concierge boys did a 180, and so all their counterparts getting 6-pack of beers or a petrol voucher, and then they became highly competitive to get their own stamps up on the wall, which has driven our customer service satisfaction to be over 94% every month, which is fantastic. So something that was kind of quirky back in the day, very, very successful these days.
we probably spend somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 a year on staff incentives, which seem to work, you know, for anything from a massive staff party at the end of the year to little scratchy cards that might be a $5 petrol voucher or some shopping vouchers or a movie ticket or something like that. And we're very free with that, and it's something that I certainly encourage my managers to do. I'm probably a fairly non-typical sort of a hotel general manager these days. I did start in the kitchen as a kitchen hand some 22 years ago, and I was lucky enough to go through a trainee manager's course. So I sort of moved up through every department, starting washing dishes, going up through the restaurant, through the bars and things like that. During that time, you know, I've recognised that hierarchy doesn't always work in hotels, and that my philosophy on running a hotel is really breaking down all those tiers, in that everyone's the same.
We've got concierge team, half of them are training to be lawyers, architects. I want to tease every ounce of intelligence out of these people that I can. That's my job as a manager, to understand exactly what their strengths are, develop their strengths and enhance their weaknesses. Every month when we get the profit and loss coming out, we sit down, we go through it line by line together, let them understand how one thing reflects on another and how it impacts their business, because when they get an understanding, they might have a great idea that I haven't thought of. We
have 10 key managers here in this hotel managing various departments. My role really is making sure that those 10 people are gelling, you know, that there's synergy throughout the departments. What we need to make sure is that those 10 managers have no barriers between each other. You know, if something needs to be said, they can say it, and there's no personal feelings hurt or anything like that. The key word, I think, is communication, and there's no secrets. People know what's going on here. By breaking down the hierarchy, we've encouraged a lot of cross-training into other departments. So, at the end of the day, the productivity is very high per staff member, in that for example, if there's a porter on the concierge desk, he's not busy, but he can see the restaurant is busy. He's trained to jump in there, help out, and vice versa.
We are doing a lot more with less staff. Probably years ago we had 2 girls to a floor, and there's 20 rooms on a floor. Now we're down to 1.5 girls per floor, just through revamping the techniques that we use and the systems we use in training and in actually cleaning the rooms and turning them around. We can get a room turned around fairly quickly now. It only takes us about 25 minutes to turn a room around, as opposed to 35-40 minutes in the days gone by.
Back in 2003 we entered the Hospitality Association Awards in 5 categories and won 4 of those, including the Supreme Award, and that was great for the staff to see that, you know, we've been recognised by our peers. The other one of note really is the best places to work that we were a finalist in last year. That really is the staff telling us that yes, we are looking after you. They are happy to stay here. It is a great place, you know, not just to serve the customers, but a great place to work in.
If at the end, I'm sure it will be shared online, so you can always view that. And then in closing, I'll also, this presentation will also be there, just giving you a summary of features of productive work cultures, which should help you and guide you. But no matter what your business does, how big or small it is, there are a range of ways you can improve its productivity. And I trust that the information that will be shared here today, not just by my presentation, but the other speakers as well, will help you to build on your journey in becoming more productive, because productivity is everybody's business. Thank you.